Certain things in Hollywood are givens. And one of those is that if Denzel Washington is fronting a movie, chances are, better than not, you're in for a good film. It's just one of those things. Now, I'm not saying that his entire body of work is fantastic and that, he has no clunkers at all. No, I'm not saying that. But I am saying that if he's headlining a movie, chances are it's pretty damn good and entertaining as well. And boy, is his latest fit in that category. A cinematic class is about to begin, and your professor is it. Greetings, salutations, and other sundry affair. I am your cinematic professor and a purveyor of truth in movies. I know what you're going to think. You're going to say, hey, professor, we just saw a review where you were wearing that same jersey. Right? Nashville Predators jersey. I think it's a Seth Jones jersey. I'm not exactly sure. I have a giant mug of coffee, and I am sitting down doing about 4 or 5 reviews in one sitting because, I watched all the movies and then never went ahead and did the work to them to write the reviews down. So I'm trying to play catch up so that you are informed on what is good to watch and what is worthwhile spending your entertainment dollar on. And this one is. This is called The Little Things. Okay, this is a lot of fun. And as I said, Denzel Washington is in this, and he's backed up by Rami Malek and Jared Leto. And even though Jared Leto will probably go down in history as the world's worst Joker, he's really good in this movie. I gotta tell you, I think he's nominated for Best Supporting Actor. Yeah, they both are. He's kind of maniacal in this movie. He really is. The Little Things is one of those films that, and again, it's from Warner Brothers. Now, okay, we got to say a little thing about Warner Brothers here. Warner Brothers came out a little while ago and they said, we are tired of dealing with these predominantly blue state governors putting all these lockdowns on things, and our movies are backpiling. We're not making anything on them, yada, yada. And they decided to go streaming. So, if you live in a state that is run properly and your theaters are open, you can go see it at a theater. If not, you can stream it. Oh, okay. Warner Brothers has been getting tremendous backlash for this decision. It truly has. But turns out they're right in their approach and how they went about doing this. And probably one of the biggest factors in cementing their decision, if you will, is that Disney is now joining them as far as the streaming release and the theater release same day is concerned. So I gotta say kudos to Warner Brothers. I think they went ahead and made a good move. They did in Hollywood essentially John Galt, okay, to get their movies out, and I think it's a good move. I really do, and this is one of them. So if you're lucky enough to live in a place where the theaters are open, you can go catch this in the theater. It'll be worthwhile. I tell you, it's worth the price of admission. And if not, you can stream it. Now, yeah, you got to be careful with streaming too, kids, because some of these streaming devices, depending on which one you go with, I mean, they can give you a nice price for a movie, or literally they can rape you. I mean, it's really wow, yeah, it's like that. I remember when Mulan was streamed, the Disney folks did that. They charged $30 to watch the movie, and that's on top of the monthly fee for their streaming thing. So it was that's a bit rough. You'd have to invite over practically the whole family in the neighborhood to try to make that price worthwhile. And then of course you couldn't do that because you'd have some brown shirt neighbor turn you in, and the cops would come and say you got too many people in the house, and then all kind of you don't want that trouble. Okay, so all that kind of stuff happens. Okay, let me get back to tonight's movie because this is from Warner Brothers. It is called The Little Things, and wow, this is a pretty good movie. But let me start off by saying that what makes it exceptional are the trio of main stars. Okay, so why do I say that the trio of main stars is probably the biggest draw of this film? Well, let me tell you that the story offers pretty much standard quo as far as cop movies are concerned. Now, it takes several themes that sometimes can carry a cop thriller on its own, and it meshes them together. So, what we have is a disgraced cop. We have an old bristled veteran who runs head to head with the bright new star of the police force. We have an old case that is haunting that veteran, and he just, can't get on with his life until it's resolved. And uh, all of these themes are kind of meshed into and thrown in on top of this is a killer who is either so incredibly slick or they have the wrong guy. Okay. And it takes you the whole course of the movie to find out. Now, like most movies, there's probably about I want to say 15 to 20 minutes of this that are too long. Robert Frazen is the editor for the film, and there are a couple of scenes in here that just added length, and I don't think they did anything to help the story. As an example, there's a scene where Denzel's character, Joe, goes back to visit his ex-wife. Totally unnecessary. It didn't add anything to the plot. His story about his ex-wife was revealed in dialogue beforehand, so there was no need to show any physical evidence that they had split up. It wasn't there. It was not. And there are a couple of scenes. There are a couple of scenes like that, and that's why you got. Yeah, John Lee Hancock is the director of this movie, and let me get the guy who wrote it for you here. Let's see. They're not going to tell me. Yeah, John Lee Hancock did, of course. So, and he was in there with Mark Johnson. So they did a good job in putting this together, mixing the themes. But if you had watched this under any other guise, you would have said, well, these are themes that been there, done that type thing. But the exceptional acting of these three is what really puts it over the guard. And there is a huge problem with this movie, and that is that people who are in law enforcement will not appreciate this movie at all. Okay, I'm giving you that warning up front. And here's the reason why. There is so much standard operating procedure that is frankly ignored in this movie. Not only ignored, but like just tossed aside as if some of the actions of the detectives in this movie, you sit back and you look and go, what are they doing? Now I've never been in law enforcement, okay, official law enforcement, but even I know that I was looking at the screen going, oh my God, they can't seriously be doing this. So I'm sure anyone who is in, treading along the thin blue line is going to look at this and go, oh, this is stupid. They would never get away with it. And they're probably right. But again, it is the solid acting and the commingling of these three stars that kind of makes you say, well, okay, I'll watch it till the end anyway. So the name of the movie is The Little Things. I think you're really going to enjoy this one. If you can put aside for a moment everything you know about police work, you'll be okay with this. And the stars do a really, really credible job. This has a really good music score as well. So I want to point out to you that Thomas Newman did the score for this. Warner Brothers was very, very generous in sending me a hard copy of this movie, and I'm glad because it's one that I plan to add to my collection. I like this one a lot. It was worth looking at. And like most thrillers, after you let it sit and stew for a while, you can watch it again and enjoy some other things in it. This is a very good movie uh, for this time of year, and I think it'll be great for you guys to watch. I also want to point out that the special effects that were done in this movie, okay, was done by a group called Crafty Apes. I'd never heard of them before, but I just thought that name deserved to be in this review. Kudos, Crafty Apes. Nicely done on the special effects. The little things. You're going to like this one, even though most of it is kind of like, hey, they can't do that. You're still going to like the way this movie turns out in the end. And now that you have learned what you have learned, here endeth your lesson.